So please welcome Veronica Moya to the show. Welcome, Veronica.
Thank you for having me. I was just
Oh,
welcome you too. Nice to be here.
all the way from Palm Beach, Florida. And, I had your people reach out to me, and I have that a lot. And this podcast is almost 6 years old. And, I get those emails, and it has to really have a full body yes, or something that I know will speak to me, that will be something that I want to share with my people, and I know that they'll be interested in. But also, what was unique for me to go down your rabbit hole was you're passionate about the same things I'm passionate about. So, if anything, I'm excited about this interview because I feel like, I always look back. I've had so many past life regressions where I'm always a teacher for children, and I'm always so passionate about teaching them the healing and the affirmations and the gratitude. In every past life thing, I've had those experiences. So I understand that why I was led to this in this life, why those things light me up. And it's when I find somebody that it resonates with too, like you, and almost exactly the same things. It really made me excited to have you on and share that passion for children, especially these days. And I know you don't have children, and I think it's amazing that you don't and you love them so much, and that's where your focus is. But as a mom of two girls, they're now 16 and 19, and I've raised them like this their whole life. So when I see them now, and after I put the work in and was intentional about my parenting and knew from 0 to 7 that we're programming these little computers, and so aware and in, like total, so in such awareness that I now see, and I could probably cry. My 19-year-old, second year of college, I can say this to my second, and then Presley, the 16-year-old, their values, that what they know about who they are, their love for themselves as two girls in this world that are beautiful and have all the things they do in life, but they know who they are, and they are they stand tall in their beliefs, and nothing can take them down. I see the work that I put in, and now it's like it bloomed. I planted the seeds, and now I see the flowers bloomed. So anyway, I know we don't know each other, but I just kind of wanted to give you a little background of why I resonate so deeply with what you do and why I'm so excited to have this conversation with you.
That is such music to my ears. This is it's fabulous. It's so great. That is exactly what I do. I've been doing lots of interviews because I had a book come out, and and they always ask me the same question, about mindfulness or meditate, because I say you should encourage your children to meditate at least 5 minutes a day, just 5 minutes a day. And I say it's mental hygiene. It's as important as brushing your teeth. Why is that? Why do you call it mental hygiene? I said, well, because, and they said, oh, another question they ask is, what's the difference between this and therapy? And I try to explain to them, it's like, they're completely different. It's like saying, like, right, why do you, that's why I equated with brushing your teeth, because you don't brush when your teeth are rotten, you brush so they don't get rotten. So imagine all the problems that we have as adults, the self-defeating thoughts, the self-sabotage, the self-loathing, the insecurities, the anxieties, all that stuff that nowadays people think it's normal. Because I talk to a lot of adults and it's like, yeah, okay, that's how it is. No, it's not. It doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
What you did is exactly, it's proof that what I'm saying works. This
Yes.
is why I do what I do. And this is what, yeah, I'm definitely passionate. I feel, I was telling you before, like, I'm also, well, I want to bite take a big bite, like bite more than I can chew. But I understand baby steps, but I get very impatient when I see the disconnect in the world, right? And the parents, and like something so simple and so easy to do,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not popular. But let's just say it, long short, that's what it is.
Right. No, it's not. And it's so
It's not
funny.
mainstream.
Right. No, it's not. But it's coming. And it's when I meet people like you and I think, oh, thank you, God. Like there's more people out there that have this drive and desire to empower these kids and to really empower the parents that are raising these children. You know, this, and I know you've probably experienced this, but I have two ages. One is from 4 to 8, and the next one's from 8 to 14. The 4 to 8 are the most use their imagination. They're fresh from God. You know, they're like, they believe they can do anything and all those fun things. That's the first hour. Then I go to the second hour and the flip has switched. Like I see the blinders and they're like, what the heck? The, right?
It's
So,
like you're reading my mind. This is that's exactly the same experience I had. That's what I tell people. So I was teaching the public schools. I start with the 5-year-olds with kindergarten. Fabulous, exactly what you say. Because another question I get, people ask me, how do you do it differently? What do you say differently from adults to children? And I was like, it's not different. I said this, so I go through, I like to use guided meditation. So I said, well, you go within and we do this. And the lady who was interviewing me was saying, oh, so how, you go within? And I said, they know. It's like intuitively, instinctively, they know. I don't have to explain anything. I don't have to over explain. They just do it and they love it. And then I see when I go to the 10-year-olds, the 9, 10, they're already jaded.
yep,
And I say, you have magic inside of them. Nah, I don't think so.
right,
And then you have to kind of convince them or explain or show them how they do have magic and they can create with their minds. And that's why nurturing the mind and the thoughts is so important. But
right,
imagine if we started at 5 years old or 4.
right.
4 is great.
Oh, I started at 0. So we were writing in gratitude journals when they were writing stick figures. They have gratitude journals in this closet since they were babies. And then the meditations, they would go to bed and there was something on Alexa, I would call it like, it was like tea house meditations and it would do a 3 minute and they could pick what they wanted. And then I would just close the door. Sometimes I'd lay in there with them, but that was their muscle. They got this routine down that they knew that they had to meditate. And then, so then you see that it becomes part of, I mean, Presley meditated the other day and she was like, that's part of she's 16. Like because I created that when she was a baby. But let's talk about, okay, you wrote a book, the soul portion of that, I've gotten a little bit of that about this children's book, but explain that. But I also want you to explain, you don't have children, the Edgar Casey thing, I mean, all these different things that resonate with me that you've done and you've contributed your magic in, and why, like, what built this? Because you started like in the late 80s or something, like with this children, right?
Oh, okay. Started working with kids. Yeah, I was 17. Probably, yeah, late, you're right. Late 80s. So sad.
Well, the reason why I said that, because I was thinking in my head, okay, I graduated from high school in the late 80s. Where is she? Like trying to think of her age and
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes. You're right. You're right on. You got that right. Yes. Because, and back in the day, I remember we used to put signs in the grocery stores and all the places in the neighborhood because there was no internet. There was, that's not how
right,
people found you. And parents would find us and then in mushroom because they like you. And then everybody else from the classes would hire you. So yeah, I started working with kids at 17, as an entertainer. But so how I started with this and also the book is really the story of my life. So when I came into this world as a child, as a baby, as a child, I was very aware of my essence as a soul, as a non-physical, and I was very upset extremely disappointed to be here. I grew up, was born in Argentina, with young parents, young, very nice people. They're my parents are very nice. They feel very nice. I don't want to, it sounds so bad to, but I was little and I felt I didn't get, I wasn't dealt the best hand. I wasn't dealt the best cards. I knew what I was. I just knew. I'm like, really? Here? This? Very upset, and I wanted to die, for lack of better word. I would just
Oh,
wanted to
wow.
go back constantly, not in a bad way, in a good way. Because if you remember, I mean, if you truly remember the perfection and the beauty and the happiness and the ease, who wants to be here? And so that was me. So when I was 4 or 5 years old, 3, 4, 5, I used to have asthma attacks. So my parents had to rush me to the hospital in the middle of the night to get a shot. And I never put that 2 and 2 together until recently. I realized probably I was trying to, 86, like leave, exit. And then at 6 years old, I was in bed for a month because I got a bad case of pneumonia. And I think that, so no 6-year-old wants to be in bed during the summer to boot. So it was the
Oh, wow.
summer, the whole month of January in bed. And I think something clicked in me and said, okay, fine. I'm gonna be here. Forget it. Fine, I give up. And then I was about 7 years old and I have kind of like an epiphany, or I don't know. I always thought like I have friends on the other side. Like we are like a group of friends and they have me here. And in my imagination, I thought, well, maybe I pissed someone off and that's why they sent me here, because they don't want me there with them, because I'm a bullbuster. That's what I thought as a, my
Wow.
7-year imagination. So I used to talk to them in my head. And I said, all right, fine, I'm going to be here. But here's the deal. Everything works out for me. Like life is going to be easy. And I did like an imaginary handshake. And truthfully, that's how it has been. And as long as I know how to get out of my own way and not push for things that are not meant to be for me, life has been a beauty and a blessing. I have the best husband in the whole world. I have a very nice, harmonious life. And it's not what I thought. When I left Argentina, I wanted to be an actress and I wanted to be on Broadway. Clearly, didn't happen. But I just put one foot in front of the other and I went where life took me. And yes, the Edgar Cayce Center, I found it by chance. I was auditioning in New York and I'm waiting for an audition, and there was a magazine, it was called Wisdom Magazine. And I picked it up and there was a psychic development class. So I've always been naturally psychic, luckily. And yes, and thanks to that, I passed all my classes with straight A's and things like that, because I'm not really good at studying. It was really hard to read, but as long as the teacher knows the answer and my environment knows the answer, I would know the answer.
Oh, wow.
That's what I think. I don't know, I could be wrong, but this is how I felt I got the information. Because
Right.
trust me, it wasn't from me like studying hard and retaining what I read. It would take me hours to just read 1 page or 2 pages. But anyway, so I knew myself to be intuitive. And I took the class, wonderful teachers, really adorable people. They just embraced me. They became my family, my friends. They invited me to be part of the board and part of the programs committee, and it was great. It was fantastic. We were deciding what speakers will bring to the center, and so with that, I met other fascinating practitioners, mediums, channelers, and yeah. So, so I was doing that. I've been doing that, and then of course I had other jobs. So while in New York, I started working at New York Health and Racquet Club, became a general manager, and then worked at also manager as in Tavern on the Green and other places like that. And in 2008, I started as a wedding officiant. I became a wedding officiant, so I started doing weddings. And because I'm Spanish, I underestimated how many Spanish people New York City has, and everybody gets married. They all get married a lot. Spanish people love having families. So yeah, my business took off. So I've been, I supported myself with the weddings. I created a wedding company, an elopement company, and then my husband opened a wedding chapel in New York. It's like Vegas. We offer like Vegas type of weddings, but in New York. Anyway, so because I was doing very well financially with these businesses, this is my passion. So what I do, this is my passion. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm talking too much.
No, you're good.
All right. So in 2011, I had recently divorced my first husband, and I'm in Manhattan. I'm alone. I don't know. I applied to go teach at the Omega Institute. I don't know if you know it.
Yes, I do know that.
They used to have, now they closed it, a summer camp for teens, kids 12 to 17, roughly. Anyway, they hired me, and I went, and and it was the most wonderful experience. Such an eye-opener. And I used to teach this class, intuitive tarot, because we use the tarot just to get out of our heads. Truly, it's like psychic development. And it was so awesome. And these kids would come to me, it's like, I'm blown away. I'm blown away. It's such an empowering feeling to know that you can connect with another person heart to heart, have the intention of bringing forth information that is useful and important to them. And the information comes. And you don't know how it comes. You didn't think you could do this, and now you realize you can. So that's when I started with teens. It was 2011. And then the pandemic came. And again, everything by chance, I started teaching at a place online. I'm trying to remember the name. I can't remember. It's an online platform that teaches classes to children. And I started teaching mindfulness and meditation. Again, I meet lots of wonderful people. And simultaneously, I was working at the mayor's mansion for every Halloween, doing readings for kids. So every Halloween, they had 3 days where they had like a Halloween event. And I was there doing fortune telling for kids. But I did it for real. And I became popular doing this. And I had a big line, teachers and parents and their kids. So then teachers invited me to come to their schools. Again, as you can see, everything just happened organically. And I started going to the public schools. I started with after school programs, and then to the real school, the school time, and teaching the mindfulness program plus my little twist. I like to add the guided meditations. And as we were talking before, depending on the age of the kids, you explain a little more, how this is beneficial for you. And now I'm definitely, after a very long journey to get here, I was telling you before, I just decided to offer psychic development, sixth sensory development for children, and just say that's what it is. Because at the end of the day, that's what we do when we meditate and when we go within. We go within to gain knowledge about ourselves and others, and to empower ourselves. We don't go within, we don't meditate to be calm. Being calm is not the goal. You meditate to become stronger, wiser, and more able to make better decisions for yourself and your loved ones.
Yes. What just was I thinking about, because I teach in schools where they're private. So the parents are already, aware that they're not going to take them to the public school. They know that this is going to teach them what we're doing, right? So that's already the advantage that I have at these schools. And so when I think of a public school, and my girls went to a private school, so I've never been part of the public school. It's the parents, and you were speaking of this before we hit record, that it's sometimes like now that you moved to Florida, the parents they're still so programmed, and it's fine, and that's their journey, and I get it. And I think, because I understand where you're coming from, because it's very frustrating when I understand the magic that can be in these children, and that they're just the hamster wheel of life. Like they just continue what their parents did, and if I could just show them, let's just put the stick in here, and I can show you how you can create magic, and these kids can live this life where they can realize they can be, do, or have anything. And so I get my point of me asking is, when you get to a public school and they were so open to that, that's a part that I don't, I feel like I have like I'm prejudiced or something, because I'm thinking, how do I get to these public schools? Because that would be amazing. So do you see the world shifting, and we're all moving into this new dimension of like higher consciousness, understanding the power of meditation, all the things that we teach, that we are coming back to knowing that we are the creators of our life, our thoughts, our words, everything that we say is the creation. I mean, I talk the words I speak to my girls, like the things that happen to them or whatever. Our main word in this house is everything is working for you. They've learned that from day one. And we'll always say if something happened, I'm like, oh, let's see. I wonder why that happened, because it's for you and it's perfect. And so we're going to look back and know, we're going to find it'll be so fun to see where those breadcrumbs lead, because it's for you. So when they have this conversation with me, and they've done it for, from day one, it's been a beautiful experience as a parent, having this relationship together. So when I go back to these schools and I see the parents are eager, because they see what I've done, and they can see what the girls are now, and they're like, "Oh, what can I do? I need to have a lesson with you, because I hope whatever you're teaching them I can do at home, but I don't know that." So at least they're open, right? So I have that going for me. It's the ones that are so closed, but do you look at it like, okay, that's your journey. That's where your children picked you, and you're going to teach them what you're supposed to teach them, and they're on their journey, and maybe they'll realize when they get older that they do have magic.
Yes. Yes. Well, Ashley, you're the dream mom. I have never met anyone like you. You're just, I'm in awe of you. It's such perfection. It's just, wow. It's really nice.
Oh,
It's very humbling and special for me to be in front of you. Everything you're saying is just amazing. It's what I would want for everybody. And I'm in my bubble, or I was until recently, and I thought everybody thought like us, everybody like you and me. I'm like, duh, like, isn't this obvious? Isn't the, Joe Dispenza, and I'm sure you know what the bleep do, and all these things. Yeah, who doesn't know about this and the law of attraction, and however you look at it, whether you dip your toes in it, or you're you really embrace it. But I'm assuming everybody knows. And then I learned, no, people don't know. That was it. I'm going through it right now. It's been hard. It's been tough for me, really, really tough. Uh, Tough also because, I'm an empath, and I can feel, when I'm with someone and the person is, what I'm going to say, out of balance.
mhm. Not in alignment. Yeah.
not in alignment at all. They're in another place. They're in the, like in the 50s. Remember how it was like, go, go, go and work
Right.
hard. And oh my goodness, my grandma was like that. My grandmother, I was raised Catholic. My grandmother, oh, such horrible things to say constantly. The kingdom of heaven is of the poor, not of, and she would wear like rags, like ugly clothes, like just doing well, being wealthy, being healthy, being happy, being was like a bad thing.
Wow.
And working hard. And if you suffer, that's a good thing, because that means you get to the kingdom of heaven faster. So I thought that was a thing of the past, because I went through that. I lived through that. I remember I grew up with, my grandma. We used to spend weekends at her house all the time. And I mean, and I thought, oh, I grew out of it. I know the truth. I knew the truth. And I figure, well, everybody is like, kind of figure it out, right? I can be. But no, then you realize, mm-mm. And no, don't feel bad about the public schools, because I just think I was very lucky. It was just this couple of schools that invited me, and they kept me busy, because I started with the kindergarten. They had 3 kindergarten rooms, and then the first grade, and then, well, the whole school, and then there was another school, and then the lady who ran the after school program also liked me and brought me in. So evidently I just got lucky, because I try to duplicate that and I can't. And
Okay.
I've been knocking on doors for a year now.
Wow. Yeah.
It's been very disheartening. And like I said, I did a talk on Wednesday here as an anecdote. I'll share. And I did a talk at the recreation center, the local recreation center here. And they also have been super nice with me, again, by chance. Somebody met me, and anyway. So God bless them. They have been welcoming of my activities and what I'm offering. And so they have me do like a free talk for adults. So my program was about showing you how powerful you are. It's talking about intuition development. And then, I'm closing the talk with an exercise. So everybody can do, a practical exercise, do a reading for each other, for the other person. So then you get that aha moment, you get that, I'm blown away.
Right.
Which is so nice. It's so nice to see how we all have the information inside of us. And it's very empowering. Long story short, 2 ladies with a frown are sitting in the back of the room. They're at a table and taking notes and whatnot. And then when and I didn't think anything of it. And then we're doing the activity. So I come up to them. I said, do you want to do it together? Because I was trying to pair people with people they didn't know, new people. And so one looks at me, is like, no, we're with the Department of Education. So they came to see me talk, to see me speak from the Department of Education. I said, okay, well, do you want to do the activity? I don't think so. Okay. All right. So, all right. So I did what I do. But then, and then they left. They didn't say thank you, goodbye, no feedback. Listen, this is not in alignment with what we do. Something, right? Because I'm thinking, just as a human being and as a professional woman who's running the Department of Education, I think it's just common courtesy to greet the host and, I don't know, say something. But they didn't. They just left. And nothing with nothing. But as I was there with them, I can feel they were not
Judgment.
happy people. Yes,
Yes.
they were very, very hard, harsh, closed off. I think one of them already had an opinion about me, because like you can go online and Google me and you know what I'm about and what I do. So you already thought I was a little too out there for you. And what did you, I mean, just come to judge. Because I did say, everybody's welcome to come. You can come and experience it. What I offer is a very experiential thing. I mean, I can talk about it, but it's not the same. You have to
Right.
room, do the work, and see what it does for you inside.
Right.
And if you're not willing to do that, then why did you come? You know what? Close your eyes, take a deep breath, let me take you through a journey. You don't want to do that. Why are you here?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Just go watch one of my videos and pass on it. Anyway, but so that made me very sad. And then at the same time, it's kind of like, well, Veronica, hello, wake up. That's the message. Stop it. Stop chasing.
Yep.
Forget it. Just do you. This is who I am. This is my story. Because I think today is the first time that I told my full story from when I was little. Because I judge because I'm a smart person. I say, I succeeded in the corporate world. I'm not a full, hippie or woo woo or I'm I think I'm well adjusted. Anyway,
Yes.
so for that reason, I always um, I was careful about sharing those private things. Also, because when I shared with my husband 10 years ago, when I first met him, he said, "Oh, Veronica, you're not normal. That's not normal." I'm like, okay. Well, I thought it was normal. I grew up thinking everybody has to have the same experience. Everybody knows. We all know. Apparently, we don't. Um, anyway.
Explain now, explain to um, me because I know the pillars that I know are important. And I would, if I started sharing it, you'd be like, yes, 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 ditto, ditto. But I want to hear it from you. I want to hear, because, you know, there's certain things that I value as a mom and a teacher that are I have like seven things. It's like a seven, I don't know, laws or whatever, the universe that I feel like are so important. And I know you do too. But if you're gonna, when you have a client or you're helping a child that's open and ready for this, and maybe it's a 5-year-old that's fresh from God, tell us your important things. Like, what are your pillars that you really embody to show these children that they're so much more than they
Oh
can
yeah,
even imagine?
right. Yes. So right. Oh, excellent question. Thank you. A few things that I always say. My number one, my first one is that everything works out for you.
Yep.
And for me, that is such a powerful concept to go through life. We didn't have it. I didn't have it growing up.
No, I didn't have it.
Yeah, it's always a struggle. And as an Argentinian, I came from a third world country, extremely limited. Extreme people don't know. Well, why would you? But so limited. And I find myself now at middle age, constantly still feeling, getting ready to fight, ready for something to go wrong, ready for something not to work out. And I think that's the biggest poison of life. So for me, number one, yeah, know that you are the creator. You create with your mind. As they see you, they will treat you. So the way you feel about yourself informs others around you. And so when people treat you poorly, you look at yourself first. So that's another thing that I'm working on, and it's hard to get the parents to get it, with a lot of especially with older kids, with the bullying and the cyberbullying and all this. I have a friend's daughter that she's rejected. It's a long story, but so the mother, she goes to the police. She's doing all these things, and I sat with her. I said, well, why is this happening? What is she do? What is she you putting out? Why
Yep.
is this happening? And why did you take her to that school instead of, it's very complicated and long story. And I don't know that there's willingness to look within, but truly anything that happens to us, we know it's a mirror of how we feel about ourselves or what we think we deserve to have,
Yep.
not to have. So all those things, all those basic concepts that we learned when we were adults already. I learned, what, when I was like 30. If we only knew. And this is how you start life. This is how you start when you're like very, very little. Everything works out for me. I I insist with the meditations and the going within and the discovery and what they know when they go within. It's irreplicable. It's nothing I can say or do. You feel it. And then from that place, then you operate. Um, yeah, I'm big on having the experiences, not talking so much or, you know, telling them it's like this, it's like that. But yes, I do harp on the fact that you create with your emotions, you create with your mind. And lately, what has come up for me is gaslighting. And I noticed this, the gaslighting that we do to ourselves. So if you have friends and you don't like a friend or whatever, something's off, something happens, and then you try to convince yourself, because that's what parents would do with the kids. Why are you being mean to this kid? Why do you want to hang out with this? Oh, it's a nice, okay, maybe they're a nice kid, but something inside of you is like, no, I don't want, why do you have to convince yourself that yes, you should hang out with Susie or Mike or whatever? Trust your gut, trust your intuition. If it's telling you, no, it's just not for you for whatever reason, it's not for you to figure out why right this moment. But yes, it's for you to know that your inner guidance is always right. It will never steer you in the wrong direction. And so nurturing that, for me, is also important. So that's why right now I'm coming out of the closet in a way and saying, but this is really what I teach. Self-awareness, self-love, self-confidence. Again, you cannot teach someone, tell them to love themselves. You cannot tell them they're fabulous and you love them. You can, but it's not going to change their experience of themselves, right? We know
Right.
this from Robin Williams and so many others who were loved deeply by billions, and yet they didn't feel it. And
Right. The mirror thing, I teach that too. It's everything you say. It's so funny. I think once you talk and then I'm listening to you and then I talk and then you're like, yes, yes. And I knew that was how it was going to be. So I wanted to make sure before we got on, like, do you realize we're kind of like the same person?
I know, it's
I
amazing.
know.
Oh, you're my idol. Like you really are. You're exquisite. It's beautiful to be in front of you. I am so happy with your story. Really.
Oh, but the mirror thing, and I wish, like that what the girls, especially like the teenage high school, even middle school, even fifth grade, like I go back to where there's something that switched and the girls were attracting bullies or mean girls. And I remember being at that stage of my parenting, ready to just be the mama bear, right? Like, oh, I'm not going to talk to the principal and, do all these things. And I look back at myself during those times and, that's the last thing you want you to do is see your children on the playground getting bullied, right? So, and I remember sitting there one day and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, these girls are so mean. But when I finally realized it's going on inside of you, honey, like whatever is going on inside of you, it's a reflection of what's going, because you create everything outside of you. So I've had these conversations with my daughters for their whole life. And we have them every day, basically now. And we talk, Paige goes to school like 20 minutes away. So we're connected and very close. But when you raise these children, and if parents could understand that, especially with social media, the pressures that they have that I never had or you never had growing up, it's just a completely different experience. And I look back and think, I'm so grateful I was raised in the 70s and 80s where I didn't have anything like this. I didn't have, we didn't have phones or anything, right? We just had each other. And that was when you could really feed off of the energy of someone, learn people's, be really, like engrossed in the person because you could really tap into your intuition. Does it feel right? Because there's nothing to distract you. And so we have such a benefit from that experience in a childhood when they don't have that. So now looking now at these children coming into this world that only know technology, and that's my girls, 2006 and 2008, that's all they know. And it's just gotten faster and faster and faster. So when I see the pressure and when I watch the peers in high school for Presley right now and what they're doing, oh, Veronica, it is like, wow, these parents, I say to Presley, it is all a reflection of the parents, honey. Like when you realize that that is allowed or they do certain things and you don't understand how they could do things. I mean, I'm talking like drinking, drugs, smoking, sneaking out, going to these parties at midnight. Like, where are the parents? It's just so, but to be understanding of who's raising these children right now in this, where I'm at right now, is just mind blowing. So the more I see that, the more Presley, as my 16-year-old, is in this place. Like the more, like tonight's Halloween, for example, there's a party at midnight till 2 o'clock. Okay, at some girl's house. Who in the heck is going to let their child go to a party from 12 to 2? So she
Like
hears
what?
that and
All the parents were hosting.
I know, I don't know. So all of a sudden she's telling me, Paige experienced a party when she was in high school. Maybe I should. I go, you should. That you should go experience and see what it's like. And so that came up, and she goes, "Mom, let's just watch a movie tonight and hand out candy." And so when she gets clear on her values and knows that not that she would even consider going to a party at midnight, but when she's surrounded and that is all she's surrounded with, really, there's maybe one or two girls that kind of have her values, but pretty much it's me and her sister and her dad. So, and it's the same for Paige at college. Can't, you know, and it's just interesting to me to watch. And it's so cool to see really the strength that they have in their who they are and their self-worth. I mean, raising girls, especially with all the things with boys and
Mhm.
I can't, I'm so proud of them for knowing who they are and they stand so strong in that. But when the majority of these children, and I say children, but they're coming into adulthood and seeing where they're at, but it's like, where do you start to, that's a part, and I know you have the frustration too, so that's why we mirror that with each other, because all I can do is be me and show them who, they do what you do, not what you say. And that's
Mhm.
what I've done my whole motherhood. But
Yes.
you just see where the world is going, and I'm not a downer, but it's more of a, I always word it in the morning or when we talk, I'm like, we're going to find magic today. Like, let's just find the magic, So we find magic moments and then that's what we talk about instead of talking about, mom, you'd never believe this, but so and so came to school drunk. So and so, it's just like, and they go to a private school. Anyway, my point of it
I know,
is
no compass. Exactly. I mean,
there's no compass.
you're hitting the nail in the, that's exactly what I am talking about. That's exactly when they ask me why, how is this different from therapy? You wouldn't need therapy
No.
if you started at 5, going within 5 minutes a day, just as simple as morning routine, like you said, a gratitude journal every day. If that is your what do you do, just like you wash your face and you wash your hands before you eat, just like an everyday thing, it's impossible. You will not, because I didn't. I was really good, and my parents were liberals, and my sister was the opposite of me. She smoked, she was a rebel, and I was not. And I was always, that's the one thing I'm going to say, and I was run by my inner compass. And on that note as well, I don't even know if I was bullied or not. Okay, at that time, bully looked a lot different than it does today,
Right.
as you know, right? Because of, but people did make fun of me because I used to walk 10 past 10. I used to do ballet. So they made fun of me, but I didn't. I laugh. It didn't hurt me. I was
Right.
fine with it. I was like, oh, because I'm awesome. I'm great. Oh yeah, because I'm so good at ballet, and I get into the whatever. It was a really good school, and so I felt good about myself. It is so important. Nobody else can do this for you. You have to go within and find that strength, that self love, that self confidence, which only this activity will give,
Right.
right?
You know, what came, so my course is called Raising Confidence. And I think every parent's dream is to have a child that has confidence. I mean, that would be like the best feeling. You drop them off at school, no matter what, they have confidence. What a feeling. And I mean, if I sat at drop off and watched these kids go in, I'm like, nope, nope. I can see by their body language, nope, nope. Pretty much there are a lot of nopes. But when I look at how, you see the society that we live in, these children that are living like this, and they're so concerned with the likes and the people that, how many, followers.
Mhm.
And, I withheld the phones for a long time. They were one of the last kids that got that. So when we go back to 2020, my point about saying raising confidence is I started this podcast in 2020 in March. And I remember thinking, how am I going to be able to do this? I don't know. But my intuition said, start a podcast. And my husband laughed at me and said, you have no time. The girls are young, you're driving them. And I said, I just have to do this. I just knew it in my heart that I needed to do this podcast. And 2 days later, the schools got shut down to be 2 weeks in quarantine, right? 2 weeks, right? The original.
Oh.
And then I thought, I'm going to have all the time in the world to do this podcast. Perfect. I knew there was a reason I said yes to this. So then you have to do the first like two or three episodes as a solo. I was taking a class, so they were telling you first three episodes, do the first one about you, then do what you're good at or what you're going to start talking about. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I'm thinking I just finished that Date with Destiny with Tony Robbins, like a year before that. So I thought maybe I'll interview people that went to Tony Robbins. And then she's like, the teacher was saying, well, what if people say you're good at? I say, well, they talk about I'm a good mom, right? She's like, well, talk about that. So I started talking in the first couple episodes, and I would never want to go listen to that because I'm sure I printed it out and read it. And I could probably hear the paper, like when I'm in the closet of Presley's room reading this thing. But I did these two first episodes, and all of a sudden, I'm getting people from Florida, from Chicago. Can you please help my kid? In my living room, at the dining room table, my friends would say, can so and so come over? Can you teach them what you've taught your girls? Because I was kept saying, now we're in this quarantine. My girls are in the best place. They love it. Like this is the time of their life, but everyone else was suffering, but they always knew that it was working for them. So they knew in the back of their mind, this mental program that they've been programmed, like, this must be amazing, mom, because I don't know why, but this is the best thing. But all these other children were just struggling so bad online, didn't have that social connection. All their sports was gone. But when I was trying to think how to create a course, I just created the course over the things that I did with the girls. And so I created this like 7 or 8 week course, Raising Confidence. And then I thought maybe I should do it with the parents because the parents probably don't know who I am. No, they just wanted me to teach them. They just said, you just take them. I mean, I had some parents that I created a parent class for, but my point of it is like, when you look at where the world has been in the last, almost 6 years since 2020 and
Mhm.
what the children have been going through. And I still handle children that still are suffering from in those 2 or 3 years of
Mhm.
this 2020, whatever you want to call it. Um, and they have a lot of work to do. And if they only knew it's not that hard and we don't need to go to therapy and rehash it. And I always say change your story, change your life. let's talk about something new. Let's redo your story. I say that to the girls all the time. Well, remember when I go, let's talk about something amazing. Like let's, and it's not pushing it under the rug. It's just creating, you're creating that, you
Right?
know?
Yes, of course. Focus on the positive and create, yeah, whatever we are creating. We are creating with our minds and our emotions.
Right.
Yes. And that sometimes is torturous for me. You know, when something that I don't like is happening, I'm like, I'm stuck in some feeling or some, like now, like I told you, since I've arrived here, I feel, but you know, obviously, like you said, you've been great. I have to have that experience. It's good for something.
Yeah.
It's
It's
an
for you.
awareness. Yes, it's for
Yes.
me. Right.
Right.
It is informative because I was in a bubble, evidently. My whole life, everything's great. Everything's great. Everything works out for me. Everybody thinks like me. I was in New York for so long, only hanging out with artists and people in the new age industry and very open and progressive and big thinkers. Even, you know, I dated a surgeon once. He was very full of himself, very almost like Nobel Prize caliber. He worked at Sloan Kettering, and even with him, he was from the Netherlands, very open-minded, very interesting. The conversations I remember we used to have, and with his friends, and so yeah, now coming here, it's a very big departure. And my husband keeps reminding me, he keeps telling me, this is most of the world. This is 90% of the people who live in the country think like this. You are weird. You are like not, you know, not, no, he keeps saying not normal, but I'm, I'm, I am the, what is it? What? Not the norm, you know,
Right.
that's not the norm. So that for me, that's been, it hurts. It hurts me as a person. It hurts me because if that's the norm, so what are you telling me is that the norm is struggle
Yep.
out of balance and happiness. And even now, some of my friends in New York, I see them, they get into the protest and the this and that. I'm like, why? And they are supposed to be enlightened. Why do you even, I don't even know, neither do I care.
Right.
I
Me
don't
either.
care. Well, all right, because everybody creates,
Yep.
you know, including the people who are getting kicked out or are being done wrong to. So why do you get all wrapped up in all this drama and keep creating it and keep energizing it and making it bigger than it needs to be? Let everybody have their experience. There's a reason for it. And I am an immigrant. I remember when I came, well, when I came here, wasn't like this at all. I had quote unquote my struggles, which again, because of the way I am, I never lived it as a struggle. I was happier than a clam. I was just so happy and on purpose. But I, you know, I was living, I was a nanny. I came as an au pair. So I was a living nanny, which is a funny way, a fancy way of saying the help, you know, was a kind of a maid. I work from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And someone from the outside will look at it and say, oh my God, how can you do that? You know, because my family back home was doing okay at the time. I had no need to, um,
Lower yourself and get paid so
yes,
little.
exactly,
Yes.
to be doing that type of work and live in someone's attic or basement. But I did it with joy. Why? Because I knew what this is like going to the Olympics and training every day. You start, you know, maybe it's not even hard. I know runners and people and sports people, they enjoy it because they know what they are training for and they know
Right.
the result. So for me, it was just part of the journey and it was enjoyable. So you never know someone's, anyway, I'm getting off topic, but at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is that the way you see the world informs um, what's going to happen for you and what's up. If I had lived those days, those years as a victim, from a victim perspective, I wouldn't be today where I am.
Right. No.
I met so many people in my journey, and they are still struggling and still trying to make it happen.
Right.
And
Yep, exactly. Let's end on your book. Let's talk about that. Because I think it sounds so cute. I want to get one and read it to my classes.
oh, sure. Oh, I'll send you one. Definitely. It's called Goom Finds His Happy Place. And it's kind of my story. It's the story of the soul, this being Goom, this being who lives in a perfect place where there's no sadness, no sorrow, no problems. Everything is easy. If he wants something, he thinks about it and he gets it. And then he learns about Earth and he becomes very curious and is like, oh, that sounds exciting. I want to go. I want to see what that's like. So he comes, and so I illustrated it too, which was the best part of the book because that was difficult.
Fun.
That was hard to do. Anyway, and so that's my favorite part of the book when the gooms, the creatures, and then he comes to Earth, becomes a boy. So the boy on Earth has a hard time adjusting and finding the joy in this big emotions and the ups and the downs and all that stuff. He's not very happy, and he can't remember why he came, because before he got here, he was excited. He thought, oh yeah, it's an adventure, but he forgets. And his friends are helping him from the other side, or from afar. And one day he has an epiphany and he learns to meditate. And he discovers that when he closes his eyes, breathes deeply, he can go back to his happy place, his essence, his home. And then he doesn't feel so lost or weird or lonely anymore. And at the end of the book, I have a QR code with a guided meditation. So you can, do the gooms.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. And different, like, because I understand, like, when you say they're what are they, the gooms, on
Mm-hmm.
the other side, deciding who's going to sign up for the Earth School. So when you were explaining it in an interview earlier, I was like, oh, what a great, to explain to children, like, you chose this, you chose to be you. This is a big lesson that you chose. You're going to really expand your soul, and the people that you left behind are like are with you, and they're helping you, you know.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
I tiptoe around it. Hold on, let me get the book out. Here it is. And I made it so when he goes, hold on. This is my, hold on. So that's where he learns. This is Earth.
Cute.
Okay, here. He tells his friends he's gonna go to Earth, and the friends are like, are you sure? Ouch.
Oh,
Oh,
cute.
like, oh. All right, so then they tell him, we're gonna be watching you. Good luck.
Have fun.
Yeah, have fun. We'll be here.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh, I
you're
love it.
absolutely right. So I read it in front of kids, and I love the responses, the reactions. It's delicious.
Oh, I know.
One kid, I know, because you never know. You write it, and you never know until you have real people experience,
Right.
and the kids don't lie.
No.
I just did this at a library a couple of weeks ago. I read it, and this 80-year-old is like, so I'm going through, the first pages are about everything's nice and easy and there's no problems. And she's like, well, that's no good. Is it really what? Oh, because you don't have emotion, you don't have different feelings, you don't experience anything. And I thought, how smart, how clever. All right, so you're on board. You're already knowing that coming here and having all these different
Right.
feelings is a good thing. Good for you.
Right.
And on the flip side, I did it at a different place. And one little girl, also 80-year-old, she said, well, can he go back? Can he go back? How does he go back? And then all the mothers start laughing. We're all looking at each other because, yeah, you had to die to go back, right? I don't want to say it. And then the other girl's like, why are you all laughing? Why? I was like, well, so I said, well, you go, this is how you go back by meditating. It's like, no, no, go back. This is where, where everything is easy. Yeah. Anyway,
Cute. Oh, Veronica, it's been so fun. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
thank you. Thank
Tell
you. I had the best time.
oh, tell
Loving.
everybody to find you and your website.
Sure. So yes, my website is my name, veronicamoya.com. And I do have a YouTube channel with over 300 videos. And it's called Mindful V, small V as in Veronica. But Googling my name is easy, Veronica Moya, and I welcome feedback and requests. Most of the videos in my YouTube channel are based on feedback from teachers and parents and requests. So if you have ideas, let me know. Yeah, and then I'll do it.
And buy your book because it's so
Oh
cute.
yes, and you can buy, yes, for Christmas or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's made with love, and these are my drawings.
I know. I love that you drew it. That's so cute. Oh, thank you. That was so fun.
Thank you.